The fol- Warning. The following broadcast features thoughts, ideas, and opinions you might find offensive. If you're easily angered, insulted, hurt, provoked, outraged, or annoyed, the following may offend you. The views expressed in this show are solely those of the individuals providing them and do not reflect the opinions of YouTube or Google. So please, don't flag this video. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey! Hi guys, I hope this is working well for you guys. Technical issues, you know the drill. How is everyone? Hey guys, how you all doing? Oh yep, good job. Okay, if you guys haven't been here before, this is Does This Offend You? We're going to talk about, this is going to get real. This one is going to be intense because I have feelings. I have many feelings about what's about to happen. But I do want to mention that something that you have to do is go over to Nightmare Maven's Twitter. We have a poll where you get to decide which one you think is the most offensive. And spoiler, the poll's a little bit wrong right now. So,
it's interesting.
Yeah. So I need you guys to go correct it. Pronto.
I linked it. It's like the second comment. I linked it up there if you guys want to.
Yeah. Please go.
Talk about it.
Yes. Hey everyone. Hey Slops. Hey Ben. Hey Scuba Steve. Slops, I gotta make you a moderator. Okay. Yes. Wow. Are these two films very different? Very different. Yeah, and very interesting. Yeah. This is my first time seeing Silent Night, Deadly Night. So, and this is the first time that Nightmare Maven actually kind of opened her eyes to Red Christmas. How I would take it?
Yeah, 'cause you're not a slasher, not really a slasher.
Oh, yeah. Wait, someone's saying that they can hardly hear you. I think that you're down.
Oh.
Okay, sorry, that was my fault. I've turned up her mic. Talk and then see if it's corrected?
Yes. Hello. Can you hear me now?
We'll wait a second or two until it's corrected. Oh, hey, B.
Sorry, there's no echo.
Yeah, no echo. Yeah, B, sorry. I'm super excited for this one, and we'll just wait until you guys say that Vicky's audio has been corrected. That was my fault. I had the mic turned down.
I was worried. I was like, just started chucking it down rain, like right before we started. Like as the intro was playing, I just heard whoosh, like all the rain. Okay.
Okay.
Yay!
Yeah.
You can hear me and no echo.
Yeah, no echo. Sorry, B. Hey guys, hey. Okay. Should we get straight into it? Because this is gonna be intense. I don't know, did we say that I really do want to start with Silent Night, Deadly Night, just because me is triggered by the Red Christmas, and I know as soon as that starts, I'm not going to, you know how usually I'm like, I'll talk about this movie and then we'll talk about a separate one and then I can't shut up about the first one. So this is going to be like that times 10. So, yeah. Did you want to give an intro to Silent Night, Deadly Night? Your fave.
Yes. I do love it, and hold on, let's see if I can show. I am wearing a Silent Night, Deadly Night shirt in celebration.
That's cool.
Yeah, I love Silent Night, Deadly Night. Okay. I don't know if you said, I mean, most of you guys have been here for Does This Offend You, but spoiler alert for both movies. Just
very good point.
If you've watched before, you know we talk about the ending, but just in case. But Silent Night, Deadly Night, 1984, follows a young boy who has to watch his parents killed by a thief in a Santa suit at a young age. And he spends his youth in an orphanage, staying quietly to himself, but his mind is further bent by iron-handed Mother Superior. He finally gets a job at a local store where he snaps when he is required to wear a Santa suit and goes on a killing spree that leads him slowly back to the orphanage. Bum, bum, bum.
That sounds like really nice compared to how the actual movie flows, which leads him back to the orphanage. Like the whole movie, I was like, what? Who's the main character? Oh, the kid. 20 years later. Oh, 10 years later. Oh. I'm like, where does the movie start? But I didn't mind, like, overall. I actually didn't mind the movie. I thought it was quite clever.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. And I just love, like, being traumatized by Santa. It's just so funny. But it does have its issues.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I love this movie, though, because that's the main part of what made it so controversial, is that everybody was so pissed about
Santa's betrayal.
Santa being the killer and the advertising for it. Yes. So obviously, like, the main poster is, like, somebody in a Santa suit wielding an axe, and people were mad because it was desecrating Christmas, and there was public outcry to the point, like, even just in the advertisements before the movie actually even came out. So there were people protesting it, and people, like, the television promos got canceled for it. People had stopped running the television ads, and it even shortened the lifespan of the movie in theaters because it just...
Yeah, they said it was out for like 2.5 weeks or something. And this is something that I've been talking about quite a bit on social media lately. And if you're a patron, you would have heard this. You would have heard my rant. It's really funny that a lot of people say that people are super sensitive today, because I've been doing, like, I've looked into a couple of films recently that it so happens that people, especially like mothers, are like really offended by things that happen in horror movies and have been like going and picketing. But I guess back then there was no Twitter, so they actually had to go to the movie theater and picket the movie, which is what happened in this case. So I just think it's really funny that people tend to forget that everyone's been offended all the time.
It's just so much easier to see people be offended when you have social media.
Yeah, and something that came up when I was looking into this film, and I was thinking, oh, what is a similar movie that was kind of like not advertised as a kids movie, because this is obviously a horror movie, but had that skewed perception of Santa or something like that. Something I could think of. I know it's not quite similar, but like Sausage Party. That was a movie that it wasn't, because it was an animation, a lot of people were like, oh yeah, it's for kids. Obviously there was a couple of, I don't know if you know this, but there was a couple of circumstances where people actually brought their kids into that movie. Have you seen Sausage Party?
Oh my God. No, I didn't see it, but I saw the advertisements for it, and
there's like an orgy scene in it. It's like,
oh my God.
I'm not kidding. It's insane. It's like really intense. So I just think it's funny because I don't know if there was much backlash on that, but it's just interesting to think about those kind of things and what people actually protest now.
Yeah.
But I can understand people being like, especially if it's coming out. Did it come out around Christmas time? Like being pissed about like the betrayal of Santa.
I'm actually not sure. I'm actually gonna check really quick though, but I feel like probably. Either way, people would have been mad because.
Oh, I got you frozen. Oh no. Oh, sorry, you froze. Connection lost. Sorry, you guys still with us?
No.
Oh God.
It's probably just me because of the
storm.
Does
that usually do that? Let me know if it's everything for you guys or if it's just Vicky, because I might have to switch over.
Yeah, if it's just me, then it's.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay, frozen.
Who's frozen, Monty?
Yeah.
Just me,
we need
or
to know who. We need, so we can fix.
Yeah,
the
I
issue.
need to know if it's just me or if it's the whole stream.
Still here.
If it's just me, then it decided to start raining right before we started. Then it might be that. You'd think like it's almost 2019. Like the internet should not be like that when it storms. Like,
I know.
I feel like it should just be.
Raider says it's Florida.
It's Florida. Word.
Oh my God.
It's just okay. It's just
Vicky. No problem then.
So it's the storm.
Just the usual. I'm kidding.
Yeah, it really is though. Yes, the usual.
Okay.
Okay, yes.
Yes, back to that. Yeah, I think we covered the protest of the film, the release protested.
Yeah.
Also, I do want to touch on the fact that what was funny about the film was before this movie came out, there were other such films as Tales of the Crypt and Christmas Evil that also portrayed Santa as like an evil, or I guess Christmas as like a scary thing. So this wasn't the first movie that had done that. So everyone who, you know, like now is like, oh, how can you be offended by this and not by that? Same shit happened back in the day too. And people kind of pick and choose what they're offended by, as always. Anyway, I'm done with that point, but you get me.
That's true. And I think somebody mentioned it kind of early on. I'm like slyly trying to scroll back, and it was Monty that says like movie wasn't even about a Santa, which is like, I like that, which is kind of correct. Oh, thank you, John.
Oh my God, thank you.
Thank you.
The worst thing in horror in 2018 was that Vogue article. Best thing was finding YouTube channel Spooky Astronauts and Nightmare Maven. That's so nice.
Yay!
Thank you. That's really sweet of you. Wow, thank you. I didn't. Yeah.
Oh.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
You're okay.
Sorry, where were we?
Well, like I was saying, Monty said it wasn't even about a Santa, which is kind of true. Like he just happens to be in a Santa suit, but like if you look at it, it's really just, I mean, like the childhood trauma in this movie like lays it on so thick. Like it starts off with like him with his like grandpa that's supposed to be like comatose, and of course he like, we don't actually know if he actually like says something or maybe it's just the boy imagining it, but he like kind of sets it up like Santa's gonna punish you if you're bad. And then they run into this guy dressed as Santa who kills his family, which like to that kid is like, okay, he's punishing me.
I was very confused by like the whole,
what were you saying?
The grandpa thing, because like that had nothing to do with the actual story. Why did they have to make like this whole story about them going to like see him and him saying it? Like, couldn't they have just run into someone in the store or something? Like, it was just like such a, almost like I always think of like Simpsons when I think about this, because you know, like, I don't know, you know, if you know the formula of the Simpsons is every episode starts off with this crazy thing that leads them to something else completely unconnected, and then that's the cause of the episode. And it was kind of like that for me. I was like, what is happening? What are we actually talking about? Oh, thank you so much, Zach. Thank you.
Thank you, Zach.
That's so nice. Someone's like, also, fuck that, Grandpa. I'm accepting your message. I guess while we're talking about...
it is kind of like out there.
The grandpa?
Yeah.
It's just
it's a very roundabout way to do that. Like.
Yeah, and like the stories already goes through different like time hops and all that kind of stuff. It just seems so complicated to like add an extra like element into it that doesn't really matter. I do want to add, I guess at this time is probably the appropriate time to talk about with the grandpa, they called him like, you know, oh, crazy grandpa and all that kind of stuff. And I do want to say that this movie definitely has some stigmas with mental illness, and they use the word crazy a lot. They say crazy, they say nutcase, for people who have suffered trauma, aka the boy, and the elderly, you know, the grandpa, which could be seen as very offensive, I think. But it's a horror movie about Santa, so I think it's really interesting what you were saying about the fact that it's actually not about Santa at all. And seeing the cover, and I didn't know anything about the movie going in, I assumed, like, I'm like, when does the Santa fucking, you know, when does this happen? When does Santa come down the chimney with an axe? The marketing for it is very off for what it actually was. Yeah.
They make it seem like that's the whole shtick when it's really, I mean, it's just kind of like a vehicle for his childhood trauma, and that's kind of like the trigger. It just happens to be the trigger for him when he has to dress up as Santa, and he just, you know, it triggers like something in his brain and it brings everything back. Yeah.
You're just like, who
They
makes...
they make sure like visually that you know that he is being
Yeah,
triggered by this
It's
Santa
bizarre,
suit.
isn't it? Oh, you're so sick.
And then the whole thing with the whole sequence in the orphanage is just insane.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all a bit intense.
Like, I mean, it's kind of a little, I don't know, like I didn't grow up in like a Catholic school or anything like that. Like I've heard like some you know, like my uncles and things like that. Like, oh yeah, like those nuns are real mean, like used to like smack us with
Oh
rulers and
God.
things like that. Like, and I never like know if they're just like exaggerating or anything like that. But this movie kind of seemed like
No.
the stereotype of that.
Yeah.
And there's some like dark stuff going on, like when he witnesses the two teenagers like having sex or whatever, and then Mother Superior catches them. And then he go like, what the part I thought was like kind of telling of, this is like sexual education. It's like a whole nother debate in the US. It's still like true today, but she asks him like, do you know what they were doing? And he says no. And then he still gets beaten anyway for watching it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, 100% like sex ed in America.
Yeah,
Do you know what that is? No, it's bad. Like,
well, yeah, that's one of my things that I saw about this film is the whole portrayal. I don't think that the portrayal of the Santa was, because obviously he has shown that he isn't a Santa, like he's not meant to be Father Christmas, you know what I mean? I thought the portrayal of Christianity, or like, you know, that kind of establishment was really off, and if anyone should be offended, it should have been the church, or like parents who are Christian, because of the nuns, like the way that they were portrayed in the film. And yeah, like you said, spanking was done to kids back in those days for sure. But they had them mentally and like physically like abusing the orphans, like, you know, like it was orphans as well. It wasn't just like kids going to school. And yeah, the spanking, but obviously that's factual, but it's shown. What I thought was like the moment was that they showed that the nun's punishment directly drove the kid Bill to kill Bill. And because he recited, like after he got spanked, she said to him, punishment is necessary. And then before he killed, he said punishment is necessary. So it was really showing Santa, not so much. Maybe it's your upbringing by like the church, which is pretty fucked up, methinks.
yeah.
100%.
Like literally everything is resulted in punishment, and that is the Santa part is just the suit, really. And like 100% what you said, like the driving force is the whole punishing those that are doing wrong. And it's very 80s slasher, like you mentioned it, we can kind of get into it, like all the, like, where did you put it? Where you put in the tits that are shown, like the sex scenes, like very 80s, like Reagan era, like it's very like, okay, this is the punishment. It's the 80s. We need to, like, this is what is punishable. This is the thing that's punishable, which is very classic.
Yeah. I mean,
I remember I saw that. I was like,
I mean,
your comment, I just shoved all the cities in there.
Well, no, the representation of women in the film is pretty fucked, but that's like 80s for you. The bit that got me was although the violence in the film is split between the sexes and it's not just, you know, all males and all females get killed, there was 3 scenes where there were sex scenes in the film that were completely unrelated to the storyline. You know, it's not a Halloween situation where it's like, you know, the teenagers are getting frisky and then something happens and it's so like off the cuff. It's stuff that shouldn't even have happened. And I guess the main thing that really bugs me in there is the start scene where he sees his parents get killed and his mum, you know, Santa's got to get on top of his mum and pull like her blouse so you see her tits before he slits her throat. So, you know, sexual assault the woman before you slit her throat. Like, of course, why do they have to even chuck that in? Like, slitting someone's throat wasn't enough. She obviously suffers the worst death in there, and then that happens. It was just like bizarre to me. But that's, that's horror movies, slashers, really, isn't it?
Exactly. Literally, as Monty said, it's a classic 80s slasher horror movie, and that's exactly what they're going to go for every single time.
Yeah.
Whether it makes sense or not.
Yeah. Well, that was pretty much all my points. What else have you got?
Yeah, that was all mine. This one's pretty straight. I feel like this one's pretty straightforward and like it's controversial.
Yeah.
Ness.
Yeah, totally. No, I mean, I enjoyed it though, to be honest. I thought it was a different film. It took you on a roller coaster through the ages. How are the sequels? How do the sequels go?
I actually have not even seen a sequel. I've not heard good things about them, so I'm just like, I just enjoy the first one every year at Christmas time. I just watch it, and I don't even really know how many there are. I think 4 or 5.
Yeah, I think there's 5. I think that's what we saw when we were looking it up. B said, are we not going to mention the antlers kill at all? I mean, that definitely stands out, but I don't know if it's offensive because there's dead animals hanging on the wall.
Maybe. Yeah. I'm offended by anybody that puts a deer head on their wall.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty gross. I mean, but it was pretty impressive how she got up there, how it could handle the support, how it like went through her whole body. If anything, I was impressed more than offended by that kill. I was like, how did they get that all together? That was bizarre. But yeah. Are you offended by this movie?
No. If anything, like, I enjoy it more because people's panties were in such a twist when it came out. Like, I can just imagine all the super moms, like, being mad because Santa is a killer. Like, so if anything, I enjoy it more. I'm, like, the farthest thing away from offended by this movie.
Cool.
What about you?
Yeah, no, I'm not offended by it. I do think that, like, it's hard to see power being abused in that way in a movie, but I feel like it's quite accurate to what happened, and it's not trying to portray itself as being like anything that it's not, so you got to give it credit where credit's due. What do you guys think in the comments there? What do you think? 5 sequels plus a remake, says something ghoulish. Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh yeah, the remake. It's like a remake, but I don't know. They like try and make it unrelated a little. It's just called Silent Night. The remake.
Maybe I have seen that. Maybe I have seen that.
It's not as related to the original one. Like, it's a very loose remake, I would think. I've seen.
Yeah, cool.
It's all right.
No, you're right. I'm just trying to. Who was the guy that protested the first one but starred in the 4th one? I didn't know about that. Do you know about that? That's from.
The protest of the first one was.
Yeah.
I don't. Something ghoulish said Mickey Rooney. I don't know if that's the answer, but
yeah, I don't know. Everyone's just like spurting out stuff. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a good movie. I'm glad I watched it. I'm glad I've seen it now, and I get why everyone talks about it. It's pretty like distinctive. Yeah, and I don't think much people are offended by it. Moving on.
I love how everyone in the chat is saying not offended and interesting. Okay, this is very interesting. Okay.
Why? You're not offended?
It was Mickey Rooney. Okay.
You're not offended by it?
Mickey Rooney condemned the first one, but starred in the.
Ah, interesting. Oh, thank you, John. You didn't have to do that.
Oh,
thank you. 12 years of boys' school. When I watch this, I get flashbacks. Oh my god, it sounds like we should be giving you money for therapy. I hope you're okay. That sounds awful.
Oh no.
Okay.
Oh.
The remake tells a similar story. Child sees mother getting killed by father, then father is shot by the police. Child grows up, finds Santa suit, and goes and kills. I guess it's on the same track.
Not as heavy on the childhood trauma though.
No, not at all. Okay, shall we get on to the man of the hour?
Your favorite Christmas film.
Oh my god. Can we
Red
talk
Christmas.
about let's just before we get into this, Me has lots of problems with this. Like, I am not for this film. Is like crushes my soul like a lot. And Vicky and I don't even remember the first time we spoke about this, but we've spoken about it several times. And we brought it up, and Vicky was like, "Yeah, this movie," and I was like, "You know what? It's." I'm just gonna say, you know, what's an like anti-abortion movie, right? And you're like, "No," and I'm like, and I like lost my shit. I'm like, "What the fuck? What did you watch? Did you see the credits?" It's about an aborted fetus that comes to them on Christmas Day. Like, I don't know how else. And I like lost my shit because this movie was bizarre. And this movie, so many people have done reviews about it. I'm not going to name who. I'm not saying on YouTube either, just like written reviews, and they've never mentioned the abortion aspect of the fucking film, and it infuriates me because this film is just pure propaganda. Like, it's pure propaganda. It doesn't make sense for so many different reasons other than the anti-abortion stuff, but this is probably like the most offensive movie. Like, you know me, guys, I love Human Centipede, a Serbian film fan. I gave it an 8 out of 10. This film is like, I just can't even. Anyway, so did you want to jump in, Vicky?
Sure. Should I summarize it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So let me set the scene here. It's Christmas in Australia as Diane, played by Dee Wallace, brings together her estranged family for a chaotic holiday gathering. A 20-year-old decision literally comes back to haunt her. Oh, I should have said this is directly from IMDb because the summary was so great. It's not mine. Anyways, a 20-year-old decision literally comes back to haunt her when the ghost of Christmas past comes knocking at her door and is invited inside the family estate. Festivities quickly turn blood red when the stranger is revealed to be Cletus, Diane's aborted fetus, all grown up, very much alive, and ready to terrorize his long-lost mother. Diane must face her past and explain the hideous truth that is trying to kill them all, especially to Jerry, her Down syndrome son, before it's too late. I just thought that summary pretty much hit all the points of
yeah, pretty much
the movie. So that was not mine. That was directly from IMDb.
Yeah, it's fucking intense. Zach, yes, we did have to rewatch this, unfortunately. Hey guys, how is the stream going? Because I'm seeing the health is a little bit down on my side. I just want to ask if it's working for you guys. All right. Because it's all over the place on my end, and I don't know if it's just because I'm outputting it. I just want to make sure before we go on.
Oh no, you're okay.
Yeah, but it seems like everyone's coming through. Like,
I'm just assuming anything iffy on my end is.
Yeah. Oh, wait, is it working all right on your end? Are you watching it? You're watching it back, so it's jittery. Okay. You need to stop playing with this jittery. Hang on. It's a bit jittery. It stops for a few seconds at a time. It's my health. Okay, it should be coming back up now. Hang on. Let me see if I can do something to kind of output. I don't know why it's like having an ish. Sounds like a good time on an iMac. Mine's glitchy. Okay, sorry guys. I don't know why. I think it might be my internet.
No.
Hang on 1 second while
I
try and sort this out. I don't want it.
No worries.
Dean, no one's home. This is why it's like more annoying. I tether from my phone anyway, so I don't know why my phone would be bad. Oh, okay. Wait. I hope that doesn't fuck anything up. That might fix it. Or make it worse. We'll see. Give it a 1 second.
It's safe to say from everybody's comments that that people find this one way more offensive.
Okay. It should be better now, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Let me know if that's any better, guys. When you have a moment.
Vicky's internet is on bath salts.
It's my internet, guys, because I'm outputting it. Okay, well, it looks like the stream's working better on there. Just got to give it a second for it to catch up. Hello? Hello, you ladies. Paperworks. Okay.
Oh, they said it's mostly on my end. Yeah, it's probably just a storm. Florida has great timing.
Wow, it's live. Okay, is that better, guys? Is that working a little bit better? It says stream health is still a bit meh. Oh, there we go. Okay, I fixed it.
Yeah.
Okay, should be catching up now. Okay. Whew. Okay. Sorry, guys. Wanted to make sure that was okay before we got into that. We just recapped. Yeah, the government was trying to take us down because obviously I'm in Australia and they don't want me talking bad about propaganda films from Australia. Where do we start about this film? I'm so like, okay. Let's start with
Hopefully you guys can't hear that.
No, I can't hear that at all. Okay, that must be so much better. Okay.
Where do we start?
Can we just talk first? Let's talk about this. Let's talk about the settings around the film before we jump into the storyline, because the storyline's like pretty fucked. But circumstances around Dee Wallace. Why? Like, so many fucking reasons why. This film is set in Australia, filmed in Australia, meant to be on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Why Dee Wallace, an American, is brought in to kind of just like fuck up the storyline. Not that Hey, thank you, Wicked One, so much. I appreciate that. Not to like, oh, you missed us. Aw, that's so sweet. Not to say that it doesn't make any sense that an American would be in Australia, but I just feel like it sets the whole thing off, because then she tries to like say weird stuff about tradition, and then they're talking about how we should be having prawns, and it's just like so adding in. It's like what we were saying about the whole grandpa at the start of Silent Night, Deadly Night. It's just so off and makes no sense. And for them to afford her would have been insane. And behind the scenes of the film, they didn't actually know if she was going to arrive. Like, they weren't even sure until like the day she came if she was going to be like yes or no. So that puts me off, because I'm like, what is she doing in this film? And without her in this film, would this film be a big deal? Probably not. Yeah, this is how I start. But she flew in. Yeah, at least she didn't try Aussie accent. I don't know. Like, could it be any more bizarre? Not sure. Number two. Sorry, I'm just like taking over this.
You're
just let
good.
me get out this. Number two.
You're good.
And this is something that's like very important with the setting. This film is in Australia. It's obviously not in like a coastal town. It seems like it's in rural Australia. Like, it's kind of inner. Like, it's more like what we would call like bushland. And the fucking fact. In Australia, it's like 40 degrees around in Australia. I'm not sure what Celsius, and I'm not sure what that is in Fahrenheit. Someone can correct me. On Australia Day is usually, because it's summer. It's summer now. It was 38 degrees yesterday. So Christmas is normally a really hot day. Like, Vicky's just like, goodbye. She's like scrolling.
No, I'm checking to see what temperature it is.
Oh, okay.
You're good.
She's like, I'm done with this bitch. Get me a new co-host. No. And the fact that there's someone who's
sorry, it's 104 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, there you go, 104 degrees. The fact that someone is walking around in a cloak in that degrees weather in the middle of summer, red flags. Red Christmas, red flags. It is just like, the whole thing is so off that when I was watching it, I was like, is this meant to be in Australia? Is this meant to be in America? Like, what is this doing? Why? When? How? Why? Okay, that's my let's get into it. That's not even anything to do with the storyline.
To that point, B said when Dee Wallace says to Cletus, come in and warm up.
Yes, and I was
like,
write
what
that down because that was the fucking most. They were like, and then she's like, keeps saying to him like, do you want some hot tea? And you're like, no, bitch. Like, I want a fucking an ice bucket dropped to my head. Are you crazy? Yeah. Thank you, B. Thank you. You understand me. You got me. Okay. Because it's the most bizarre thing to watch happen in front of your eyes. Okay. Because I'm so used to watching all of you guys' Christmas movies, which is just like snow and all that kind of stuff. But then when something's set in Australia and then they're acting like it's cold and it's white. Okay. Me carries on. Because I didn't even have to make it Christmas. It could have been like, just like a family gathering or something like that.
Yeah.
Do you want to get to your first point, Vicky, so I can stop for a second? I'm very passionate about this one.
um, you're okay. You're okay. I don't even know where I want to start with my first point. Should I start with like because I found like an interview on Rue Morgue with the director, Craig Anderson, which I just thought was like, I copied down some of his answers because I thought they were just like so like mind boggling.
I want to hear this.
Yeah, like when I read them, I'm just like, what? Okay, so the first one I put down was they had asked a question regarding like Down syndrome in the movie. And this was his answer. This is the director's answer. Those themes are all under the surface, though. They're all hiding, and if you want to pick away, hopefully you'll find them. In the end, it's also just a family being terrorized by a madman on Christmas Day, so it works on that level. But if you start to look further, I tried to put other things in there, which I read that, and I was literally just like, under the surface? Like, literally, you have a character with Down syndrome, and he brings up the fact that, did you abort Cletus because he was like me? And it's like, that's not under the surface. That's
and it's not brought up once.
Dialogue,
it's brought up several times. Like, it's brought up,
yeah,
like they aborted the first kid because it had Down syndrome. And then, yeah. I mean, let's go. I have a point about this because I don't know if I wrote down the actor's name. Because obviously, like, yeah, it's so fucked up. Maybe I didn't write down this. Did I not write down? Sorry, let me just figure out. I love that I'm like reading back my things like, what the fuck? Okay, maybe I didn't write this down. Abortions because of situations. Okay, yeah, no, I did. Okay, so I didn't write down the character's name, but the character who has Down syndrome, who is her son, because it's like a family thing and there's lots of like different aspects of her family. Like they have like a woman who comes in and she's like all uptight and she's wearing her collar and her like husband's like a pastor and they're like like, you know, and he like, fuck me, like the stereotypes of this movie blow my mind. He actually watches the other couple, which are like more like chill. They like go have sex in the laundry during the film, not related. And then the like, you know, like the pastor, like priest, whatever you want to call him, comes and like follows them and watches through the crack in the door. Nothing to do with the actual film at all. Totally painting, you know, like, oh, if there's someone religious in here, we'll have to make them a pedophile, or I guess that's not a pedophile, but like a sex deviant. You know what I mean? Like it was just fuck you and your stereotypes. And then they had to have like the wife who has like, she's wearing a button-up shirt because like that means that you're like so conservative. Anyway, but the only likable character in the whole thing, because obviously Dee Wallace is just in fucking maniac screaming the whole time. That woman, like the young girl who I think they adopted as well, and she's like got the allergy to peanuts. She fucking sticks her hands in the peanuts, so she's like, she was gone from the start for me. I was like, you're an idiot. And then, you know, then they have the guy that's the stepdad, I guess, and he's Joe or whatever. Is it the uncle or the stepdad?
I think it's her. I think it's Dee Wallace's brother. I think it's their uncle or something.
And he just kept saying inappropriate shit all the time. But I wish I could remember the boy's name. The actor who has Down syndrome is the only likable person in the whole fucking film because he'll do anything for his family. He's the first one, like, if you need help, I'm there. And like, he's freaking out, but in like a relatable way where you would freak out if someone was like, a fetus was terrorizing you, you know? And I love him. And the only relatable character to turn it around and make it about his Down syndrome, and for him to be like likable and then go to being this pawn in the story where it's about, oh, but would you have aborted me? Like, that was such a fucking play on the audience, because I don't know if intentionally everyone was unlikable, but you didn't care about anyone else. And the only person you to care about, for them to turn it around and make it a sob story about them because of that, and make it just about their disability and not them as a person with a disability, is just something that happens to, you know, be in their life. It's so fucked up and wrong. It is so wrong. The fact that they even had to bring that into the story at all was fucked. Because obviously I mean, we're not going to get into the abortion. We won't get into the abortion, but obviously people don't just have abortions because they have kids that have Down syndrome. And for them to paint that whole fucking thing with that brush just infuriates me. Okay.
Yeah.
I just like, yeah, this whole thing is just like fucked. But when it's really funny what you were saying, I'm not sure if you have another quote about that director, because what Vicky and I found out is that he's making a film. I don't know if he's made it, but it hasn't gone out yet, about, or unless you watched it, I couldn't find it, the one that's meant to be about making Red Christmas.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Yeah, I watched the trailer. There's a trailer about the director making the movie, right? The fucked up thing about it is he does not reference at all the propaganda in the film. He does not reference at all it is an pro-life, anti-abortion film. And it is. It fucking is. And I'll show you the proof right now, Vicky. I've been waiting for this one. I'm going to put something on the screen right now. This is the credits for the film. And I would like you to pay attention to the part, further reading. You can see this. TheAbortionSurvivors.com. Lake of Fire, which Lake of Fire isn't so bad. I've watched that movie. It's like a double-sided. It shows pro and against. But look at all those. They're all movies like that are about
I had to
abortion.
wait for the delay, but yeah, I see it.
So it's not like he fucking shucks something in there. It's nothing to do with that. He made a movie about abortion, but why? Even if he does put some things like The Obvious Child is about, it's about not an actress, what do you call it, a comedian.
Yeah.
But it's long. Anyway, my whole point is I looked into some of these films, and these films are about, you know, abortion survivors, aka people who didn't get aborted, aka us, like, we're abortion survivors, I guess, technically. But I just, like, for him to say shit that he's, like, it's just snug in there, and not to address the fact, and to be asked that question in an interview, as you've said, and not address the fact that that's actually what the film is just horrifying. Like, that's, like, Vietnamese fucking propaganda. Like, that is, like, so intense that how can they say that shit? And I don't even know how it's legal to put a movie like that out there without a warning or without something like that. I'm triggered, guys. Can you tell? Sorry, I just, like, went.
You're okay.
Nuts.
Everyone loves it.
I haven't even looked at this. I'm losing my shit.
No, yeah, that's why I put these two quotes in there, because they just, like...
What was the second quote? Did you read them both out at once?
No, I didn't read it yet.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
This one is just more in general. They asked him about, like, the controversial nature of the movie. And it's kind of a long quote, so he just, like, starts off like, I love any film that's had controversy, like, blah, 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 like anything that's banned and protested, like, because it evokes an emotional response from people, blah, blah, blah. But then the part where I was kind of just like, is when he says, and I quote, ours deals with abortion, and it's kind of a tripwire that if it's not very good or it didn't get as much attention, I could pull that tripwire and change the synopsis from a mother protecting her family to a guy who survived his own abortion comes back and kills his whole family. Then it sounds very different and becomes a controversial film. Like, so to me, like, this like whole interview and these quotes, like, just sounds like this guy has no... Like, he's just, like, I don't know if he's just, like, delusional to his own movie, or he's trying to sell it in a different way. Like, he knows what he made, and he's trying to sell it as it not being that way.
Yeah, and I think that's what it is. I think that he's trying to get it in as much avenues as possible, so he's just going to say what he needs to say to get it shown wherever, you know, he can, and that's what he's saying, he can flip that switch. And some people said, oh, you know, let them have their anti-abortion film. Yeah, sure, but why make it a horror and disguise it as something else? Like, that's literal propaganda. And I've spoken about this before. I think I spoke about it in the stream I had with Dino last week. Like, I remember, like, seeing churches and they're like, we're going to put on this horror night, rah, 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 show the evils of hell. And what it actually is people showing, like, oh, you're going to sin and you're going to go to hell for this, you're going to go to hell for that, and stuff like that. And that is propaganda, and that's what this film is. This film could be shown in that kind of stuff, and I think it's really dangerous. It's dangerous to people like me, because I'm easily influenced, and, you know, if I didn't know what it was, or if little kids didn't know what it was, because it doesn't portray it like that, it's weird. It's just like scummy, really.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And like, I put another quote in here. It's not from the director, but it was a review of the movie from when it came out, which is like, it goes to your point of like nobody mentioning the abortion part. So this is from the LA Times, a quote from their review. It says, Red Christmas doesn't have any specific political point of view. It's fraught with contradictions, which is true, and should make anyone squeamish. Mostly it's a tightly constructed, unapologetically nasty little thriller given depth and weight by Wallace's interpretation of a sweet woman suffering from her past.
I'm not sure they watched the movie. That's
where I was just like, they just kick it off like doesn't have any specific political point of view, which I'm just like.
But yeah, the whole thing was.
But it does though. Like.
Yeah, but it does. Yeah. I do want to mention quite a fact that you know how we just said that the director kind of like throws things in there? Did anyone else pick up what the fetus's name was that came to go visit them on Christmas Day? Hey, thank you, Darling Darkness. Thanks, B, so much. It needs a man to tell a woman how she feels about abortion. Logic. Fucking. And then he needs to tell us that it's actually not about abortion, and then we believe like. Cletus. His name's Cletus. Cletus is the fetus. I just want to put that out there, guys. They fucking called a character that's meant to be a fetus Cletus. I'm not sure about the LA Times saying that this is like what they say, a tightly woven or like a tight structured.
Nasty little thriller, or unapologetically nasty little thriller. Is their definition of the movie. Tightly constructed.
Yeah, tightly constructed. When you have a character that's called Cletus, who is meant to be a fetus of your... Me done. Like, fuck you. Also, just in case we hadn't got controversial enough, have to bring up the point. Cletus the fetus decides to use offensive language. I mean...
Yeah, that was...
Yeah, and this is funny because, well, it's not funny, but this is another thing that blows my mind. This is in Australia. So this makes no fucking sense. This word, like Dean and I were saying, like this word doesn't get used in Australia. And it shouldn't be. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Cletus the fetus decides to throw the N-word out there, in the full term, obviously, and keeps using it. And people in the family are, like, disgusted. Doesn't make a sense, because Cletus the fetus... I'm just going to call him that from now on. Cletus the fetus is an aborted fetus. I'm not sure where he got his education, not sure, like, what racist household brought him up.
Yeah.
In Australia? I mean, what do you say to that? Like, why even, like, could you get any more offensive than to have an aborted fetus come to your house called Cletus the fetus, and who survived an abortion, what do you call that? Like the abortion bomb, you know, they tried to bomb.
Oh, yeah, the bombing of an abortion clinic. Yeah.
I mean, like, what else can this guy go through in life?
Seriously.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there you go. B's quite technically right there. She said, well, Cletus was raised by someone who thinks setting a hospital on fire and killing doctors is all right. Very true. But just, like, it's weird because it doesn't make any sense to bring that into the story at all. It has nothing to do with anything anyone is saying. Anything. So there's that. Fun. What the fuck, guys? Yeah. I just just to make things more uncomfortable, you have let's talk about people's disabilities like as a third person and not have them represent themselves. Let's, talk about abortion. Let's bring up, racist, let's talk about, racial fucking issues. What else? This film does stereotypes. It does like the Christian guy, like perving because he's like doesn't get sex himself, and oh god, the whole thing is just fucked, just absolutely fucked.
All over the place.
Yes, it's fucked. Anyway, do you have any more points? I'm so mad at this movie. This movie drives me nuts.
Yeah. Well, on top of that, my whole point, I didn't add much because Emma put a whole bunch, and I was like, I can just go off of her points, so I didn't want to clutter it up. But one thing about this movie is that it's just the one thing I agreed with that snippet from the LA Times is that it's fraught with contradictions. That was the only snippet I agreed with. I was like, it is, because it's clearly there's a clear anti-abortion message throughout, but then you have Dee Wallace's character kind of contradicting the message, talking about how it was her right to choose and things like that, and there's all these contradicting messages, and then at the same time you have Cletus acting like the Avenger who takes out the entire family, which includes, I saw the priest as he was gay, or he had I saw at least in the movie I caught him checking out the husband of the other sister,
but
or
why not?
whatever.
We'll just throw that in there.
Right.
Who can't we offend?
But he's an Avenger who's taking out a gay priest, a woman considering fertility treatments, that whole moment where Dee Wallace gives her money to get a fertility treatment or whatever, a person of color, a pregnant lady who smokes and drinks, so all of these these people that do these bad things, or these things that are considered bad from a certain point of view. But then so it's you have this huge anti-abortion message sprinkled with all these other messages as well, that it just kind of tosses at you, and it's just all over the place.
Yeah. It's the whole thing is just bizarre, absolutely fucking bizarre. I'm just making sure that I haven't missed anything. Pastor and his wife, she's uptight. He's people Tom, yes, abundant. Cletus fetus. Oh my god, Cletus fetus. Can we talk about the fact that he gets
while
pissed
you look
on?
at me. Oh,
yeah. The fetus, because he hasn't had a hard enough life, being raised by racist and being a fetus, and also wearing a cloak in 40-degree weather. He has to get pissed on by the neighbor and get told he's a freak and he's wrong. I mean, I don't know. The thing is, if someone came to my house in a cloak, trespassed on my property in a cloak on Christmas Day, and was just wow, you need to help me, or whatever the fuck he does with his letter. I can't say I would be too inviting either. I don't think I'd piss on the dude, but I can't say I'd be
no.
It's a weird situation, because you're but this is not properly, and it's a lot. The whole thing is a lot. The whole thing is the most confusing movie I've ever seen, and the fact that so many of the horror websites that we love, and just people we love, have written weird ass descriptions of the film, reviews of the film. I'm is someone getting paid off around here? And I guarantee the director says that it's 50-50, because at the start, when there's the scene with the protest, they do put some there is a couple of things that they say just look at the abortion process, which I'm pretty sure is triggered Trump line that he said about Hillary Clinton, and seduced by Satan, all this kind of stuff. Which is fear-mongering kind of shit. And then they throw a little bit of but it's her choice. Blah, blah, blah. So I feel he, as he says, he puts, what did he say? He put the Y's in there to trip. If that he ever got called out for it, he could be yeah, but look what I did with this. But no, it doesn't fly that way. You can't just talk about abortion in a half-ass motherfucking way, and with so much offensive shit going on, that it makes no sense. And as B said in the comments, have a man tell us, oh, by the way, this is the point, and this is the point, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm thanks, dude. Hadn't thought about it. The whole thing is just sorry, I'm ranting and raving, but the whole thing is just over the top. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just responding to B.
Oh, you're about your review.
No, yeah, I was just saying, I was telling her, I fully admit I missed the anti-abortion thing. We went over this, B. I missed it when I watched it a year ago, or whenever frick it came out, 2 years ago, whatever.
Do you want to address that or no?
Oh no, I talked to yeah, she had clearly watched my reviews because she said, "How are the kills fun in this, Vicky?" Which is something I said in my
I mean, I
review.
didn't think that the kills were that bad. The fact when she gets like slid, like
Yeah.
she gets cut in
Yeah, I
half
meant
and
like
the
the
peanuts are
effects and
around.
like how they were like over the top and slashery. Like
Yeah.
that's what I meant. Like not who was being killed, but like how they did them
Yeah.
was
No, I didn't think that the
cool.
kills were bad at all. But that's,
Yeah.
I think that's what's more infuriating about the film is that the film got so much, you know, it got so much write up and so much hype for this B grade random film that actually had like cool kills. And if they just made it about Christmas in Australia, I would have been all about it. Like, how exciting would that be for me to see a movie about like my country that they don't really show? So I
Yeah.
would be all about it. But unfortunately, it didn't end up that way.
Exactly.
They just ended up throwing in every stereotype, and then they just like, you know, abortion, cletus a feed, like you don't want me to go through it all again. Racism, like they just put every single thing into it that could have like fucked it up, and they did it. They fucked it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm offended. Is that what you wanted to hear? This movie is the only movie that we've talked about so far that actually like full-heartedly offends me. This movie, its existence offends me. I'm very offended. Vicky, your opinions, please.
Wow. Definitely now that I was telling Emma before the stream started, like I'm pretty sure I missed the first bit of the movie when I watched it the first time, like the whole montage with like the protesting. Like I fully admit, like I think I was being a millennial and like on my phone like when I started the movie because I mean I probably wasn't that interested in watching it last year or whenever I saw it. So when I saw it this time, I was like, oh, I like it was like seeing it for the first time. I was like, oh, I totally missed that part. But yes, I totally I get it. I see it now. And yes, it is offensive. It is. Well, 100%. I feel like everybody in the comments agrees.
Yeah, let me know, guys. What do you guys think? Do
Yeah.
you think it's offensive
Offensive
or
or not offensive? I know some people were saying that they like hadn't seen it or something. So.
I'm glad I never saw
Monty
this
is
movie.
glad he knows this movie.
I just like, that guy, just like
She
the
feels
director.
some type of way.
Yeah, and then just the fact that
Yeah,
director,
that interview
yeah,
thing like blew my mind when I found that. I was just like, what the?
yeah, but it seems like he got away with it. Oh god, yeah, and the whole thing that he made like a film about him making that film and how he like did it, you know, by himself and short, like no budget, shoestring budget, no people, all this stuff, and it was like pulling it together last minute, but then doesn't talk about the fact that he would put that into a film. Like it's so like, what do you call it? Like it's just, I was gonna say disrespectful, but it's not. It's not disrespectful. It's like, what do you call it? It's not. Fuck. I don't know. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. It's not like. What do you? Safer society? I don't know. I'm trying to think of the word. I can't think of it. Anyway, I'm sure some of you guys can tell me in the comments. I just think it's neglectful, I guess. Maybe like that's, you know what I mean? Like it's irresponsible.
Yeah, like irresponsible.
Yeah, I guess that'd probably be it. It's pathetic, so to speak. Oh god. Okay. Tom says that he passes on both movies without seeing them. I think Silent Night, Deadly Night is probably worth seeing though. It's quite funny. Sounds shocking to be shocking, like a 12-year-old, but an adult who would let people direct movies. Yeah. It just sounds like he just tried to do too much at once, and it was bizarre. Pathetic. Yep. Everyone's like, pathetic, pathetic. So you guys, hopefully you have gone into Twitter and you have voted on the polls.
Which is crazy.
I haven't looked at them yet because I feel like my stream keeps like...
This poll, I think...
Yeah. Sorry, what were you saying?
Oh, you're good. I was just saying the poll is crazy.
Oh, okay.
That, yeah, as it stands right now, 65% think Silent Night, Deadly Night is the more offensive
What?
movie.
You guys are fucking insane.
But that could be versus like what I think you said it earlier. I think more people haven't seen Red Christmas though, so that might be why
Yeah, maybe.
it ended up like that.
Okay.
And I mean, I guess it just depends on what offends you too, I guess.
Yeah. And I guess that's
You know?
Merry Christmas. Everyone's like, I'm done. Like, everyone's like, it's pathetic. Oh, I watched. Faye's like, Better Watch Out tonight, and I loved it. Ben's like, I like Better Watch Out too. Everyone's like, let's talk about something else. We're over this. Which I totally agree. It's done.
I also like Better Watch Out.
I did like Better Watch Out. You guys are so funny. Okay, well, so are we finishing on the poll there? Do you reckon finish on the poll there? Yep, so what was the actual final score? Did it change?
Nope.
No, okay.
It's still.
So you guys are just still wrong.
I'll refresh it one more time. Yeah, 65 to 35%.
Wow.
Goes to Silent Night, Deadly Night, I guess.
Maybe people just have seen it more, yeah. Okay. Thanks for coming and
that's
travel
what
with
I'm thinking.
me. Yeah. Okay, cool. Anticlimactic ending to a insane stream, guys. Sorry for the health of the stream. I think that's internet from my end. Hopefully I'll be getting fiber optic next year. It's meant to come in and this will be a lot better. But at least we didn't have any other issues, maybe, kind of. Hopefully it was okay. Thank you so much for coming, everyone. Anything else you want to add, Vicky? Anything
Yeah.
you want to say?
No, thank you. Thank you for being cool in the comments. As always, like every time we do these streams, like everyone's always so rad in the comment section and just sharing your opinions and not being jerks about it. And that's the best part about this community, especially with movies like this that can get really, can really like rub people the wrong way. So thank you guys for being awesome and for having a good discussion in the comments.
Yeah, that's very true. Thanks, guys. And thank you for all of the donations. That was really sweet of you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
And thanks for, I guess, like a great year. Like this is our, I've asked you about 6 times. This is our ninth? I keep saying this. I've asked Vicky about 6 times before I started this stream. I'm like, what number is it? Okay, this is our 9th. So what a year. We've done 9 months of this. I think actually 10, but we skipped a month. So awesome, and I can't wait. I really want to do this next year, and I hope that you guys have enjoyed it too. And we'll get back to you guys. I guess probably the next one might be a bit later in January, but we'll get back to you with the details after all the Christmas stuff and all that has happened. And we're all laughing and enjoying Emma's rant. Okay, be sure to play that back. If you can give this video a thumbs up to show us that you appreciate it, that you, I don't know, were okay with it. Okay with the rants and rambles. And let us know, as always, if you have suggestions for the next one. You can send us a tweet or whatever. And thank you guys so much for being here. And Vicky, what else do you have coming up on your channel? Yeah. Do you want to shout out?
I'm gonna do another homicidal homemaker tutorial next week. I know you guys loved it. It'll be Christmas themed, don't worry, and it should be a hot mess like they all are. So
yay! I love seeing your family in it. You guys are so funny. Adopt me. And I have 12 Days of Christmas starting on Thursday, so that should be fun. That should be a ball. But we'll talk to you guys very soon. Thank you all so much for being here, and thanks for all your support. And I hope you guys have a great night, great day, great life. Stay away from Red Christmas. You don't want to do it. It makes me angry. I'm so angry. Okay. I love you guys so much. I'm going to leave you on this little thing to finish it off. I've just changed it to the credits, just so you know. Got my receipts. I love you guys so much, and have a good Christmas. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Love you all.
Merry
Bye.
Christmas. Bye.